foodsdirect.com. Go to their website online right now, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or call 800-409-5633. Again, on the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or give them a call at 800-409-5633.
You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Words, Mr. Wordsworth, that have no substance and no dimension, like air, like the wind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins to make you think you have a strength when you have no strength at all. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
We're going to open the phones up throughout the full transmission. 1-800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. All right, here's the key. We are psychologically being trained to accept death. The average life expectancy is 51 for Exxon Valdez workers, when the average life expectancy is over 75 in this country. 74 for men, 76, 77 for women. Almost all the Exxon Valdez workers are dead. Obama and the EPA come out and say there's no health problems in the Gulf, even though they've used hundreds of times the dispersant, 40-plus million gallons, all the crude oil. They told them, don't wear mask. You'll scare the public. There's no problem as you collapse, and many already died. That's mainstream news, but Obama and the media say it's fine. The government says it's fine, but then other newspapers tell the truth and talk about the illnesses and the deaths. And even BP doctors have gone public and come out and said people are getting sick and dying, and there's a cover-up going on. And it's the same thing with depleted uranium. There was a report in 1946 dealing with radioactive gas weapons using DU gas bombs against the Soviets. And the Pentagon, the newly built Pentagon, decided we will not use this. It's too deadly as a blowback, and the half-life of DU is billions of years. What is it, 4.5 billion? I'm going from memory. I know it's over 4 billion years. The half-life, okay? It is fresh and has the maximum effect for billions of years. For all intents and purposes, forever. And now they're not just using it in Abrams Sabo rounds or in Warthog Vulcan machine gun cannons. They're serving it out to 50 calibers, to 223s, you name it. It's being used in proving grounds all over the U.S., all over Hawaii, all over Puerto Rico. The people complain. They say, shut up. Shut up. And when you fire DU, it aerosolizes when it hits the targets. It turns into powder. It ignites because the friction is so great and burns and turns into a powder that's radioactive and poisonous. We've had the former head of the Pentagon's DU program, Dr. Doug Rockey, Ph.D., and now scientists reporting, there's reports in the U.S., England, and Iraq, a 4-fold increase in cancers in cities where this was used. Mainly Republican Guard bases were bombed with it. And where did our troops move in? The Republican Guard bases with the blast holes bombed out. They would dump sand on top of the blast holes, supposedly containing the DU. A dump truck of sand on a blast hole, on a crater, and then, of course, the desert winds, the sand blowing around. You're seeing massive increases in lung cancer, in skin cancer, in organ failure. Again, we've had the medical doctors on about this in our troops. Now, I said this is the key to everything. This is the key. First, they put cars at the border through high-powered X-ray machines where you drive under it and it scans. Then they put naked body scanners in and lie about the radiation, and scores of top scientists are now, LA Times, New York Times, saying it's incredibly deadly. There's 2 different machines, 20 to 50 times the radiation. They lie and say we're not recording the images. Now they admit they are. So they're training you to be bathed in radiation. And by the time you get angry by that, they've already jumped onto the next thing, so you're fighting that, and the old tyranny now doesn't seem as bad. So they take you 1,000,000 miles down the road of despotism and dehumanization and scientific poisoning and death and radiation, and you push back 500,000 miles with everything you've got. They've still got you 500,000 miles down the road to tyranny. Then they bring you another 1,000,000 miles. You battle back another 600,000 miles. You're still 900,000 miles down the rat hole. Then they take you 10 million miles. You battle back 9 million miles. Now you're 1,900,000 miles down the rat hole to hell. Then they take you 1 trillion miles into tyranny. You battle back hundreds of millions of miles. It's over. It's too late. That's their plan. And they're now not jumping hundreds of miles or thousands of miles. They're now jumping millions of miles. We've got to run screaming through the streets, metaphorically. We've got to pull our hair out. We've got to stand there in grocery store lines and start yelling about the new order. We've got bangs everywhere. We've got to call talk radio. We've got to email, every day. We've got to get self-efficient. We've got to warn everyone because they're trying to break our will. Now, here's the key. In England, this already started 5 years ago. It's how I knew it come here. Naked body mobile vans. I told you it'd go in the courthouses, federal and state. Now it's happened. They're saving every image. 34,000 images in one city, Orlando alone, at the federal courthouse, of your children, of your wife, saving and all, at the airport, saving and all, bathing you in radiation. Now, if it is enough to have Border Patrol in checkpoints to 100 miles in this constitutional zone, Border Patrol always show our bad birthday. With you, there's some news, we're living out and block getting AIDS. It's like they told the 9/11 war, you're breathing asbestos, not bad for you. Many of dead, what, 3,000 plus? All the dogs died within 5 years that breathe it, nasal cancer, lung cancer. The major university medical centers do the lung scans, say they're full of asbestos, full of all these chemicals, they're dying. Government, almost 9 years later, says, you don't get any health care. Oh, Bush stands up there on the rubble and poses as a patriot. Glenn Beck, who said he detests 9/11 victims, stands on the rubble. Now, goes to ground zero and grandstands. It's only on the surface of their patriotism. So they're setting the precedent to give you Gardasil, and it causes autoimmune disorders, brain damage, death. No, nobody gets in trouble. They come out with the H1N1 shot. Hundreds of thousands get sick. Guillain-Barré, tenfold increase in seizures, neurological disorders. It's all admitted. British Medical Journal. They don't care. They keep rolling it out with it again this year. They're just setting the precedent. They're charging up the hill on us, firing and attacking. They're not backing down. And they got loudspeakers blaring, we're your friends, we're the government, we love you, we care about you, we're doing this for your own good. They got billboards up everywhere, tattle on your parents, tattle on your boss, turn in your neighbor, get some cash. That's all off charts. They're turning us against each other at every level. And now they come out and say, we've got super high-powered mobile trucks that are going to roll around America with super high-powered x-rays, so powerful. I mean, it's a super dose to be chest x-rayed, just to shoot through some meat at point-blank range from a foot away. They've got statistics that if you get more than a handful of chest x-rays, your cancer levels just go off the chart. These are systems conservatively thousands of times stronger, and the people in the trucks are getting backscatter splatter when they're aiming this thing. You're in your house, you're on the highway, and they're driving around hitting you with high-powered radiation. I mean, they found out 20-plus years ago that cops were sticking radar guns between their legs on their motorcycles or squad cars. I drive down 290 every day, almost every day, and see motorcycle cops sitting there on their motorcycles, and when they're done aiming their radar gun at me, they stick it between their legs. Even though they tell them don't do that. And have you seen the statistics on police officers' testicular cancer? Because even though they're not firing the ray, that device is broadcasting some of it. And it's cooking their genitalia. How many thousands of studies about cell phones with the microwave scrambler relay heating the brain at least 1 degree after 5 minutes of average cell phone use, and it varies cell phone to cell phone. Admitting it's going to give you cancer. And they even let you know it's going to give you cancer. But we're just like wild deer. This is the key. Wild deer, and they've done studies in North America, they've done it in Africa, they've done it in Asia, as well as Europe. You can put poison in a water supply, in a pool, in a pond. The deer will come and drink it. Even though they see other deer dying from it, they can't make the connection. Just like rats can't make the connection. And so even though you know bisphenol A is giving you cancer and hurting you, and I was sent an email, I'm mispronouncing it. Is it bisphenol? Bisphenol A. Admittedly, bisphenol A. Even though that's happening, they put it out there before us, and I catch myself like a little monkey reaching up to get the little juice drink I want. I catch myself, you know, my kids are begging for the corn syrup lifesavers. I catch myself still giving it to them. Because the force of habit is so powerful that I grew up eating lifesavers, and they look colorful, and they look like fruit to my primitive brain, my hardwiring. I still have to fight to not give it to them when they're asking lovingly. And it's the same thing. These guys work for these body scanner companies. They work for the TSA. It's their job. They do it, killing themselves to live. The people rolling out with these companies with these high-powered X-rays, they're just like the troops. They're going to go breathe the DU. They're going to go bathe in the radiation. Fourth Amendment violating mobile X-ray scanners hit the streets. As we warned at the beginning of this year, X-ray body scanners currently being used and abused in airports across the world are set to hit the streets as American science and engineering reveals that more than 500 backscatter X-ray scanners mounted in vans that can be driven past neighborhoods, vehicles, to see their contents have been sold to government agencies. More than 500 mobile vans, so powerful that they shoot through metal and brick. And if you try to go, I mean, they're assaulting you. They drive by and hit your car, your house with this, you're being assaulted. But you try to pull them over, you try to stop them, they'll call a SWAT team and say terrorists are attacking, and those SWAT team guys drinking bisphenol A, drinking sodium fluoride, shooting themselves up, have no idea. They will get in a gun battle with you and kill you faster than you can imagine. They're now rolling out worldwide. The governments are admitting within 10 years they want you to retina scan to buy and sell, and major banks and governments are continually the #1 source of people getting your personal data for identity theft. They create the crisis, offer the solution. They are assaulting you and your family when they put you in a body scanner. They are assaulting your privacy and your DNA. It wrecks your DNA. It hurts the next generation. That's New York Times admitting it, but saying it's good. It's good we're wrecking your DNA. It's good. And now we're going to hit you with something thousands of times more powerful, and they got 500 of these things already driving around looking in your house. And you can go watch the video newscast about this. It shows people inside Ryder trucks. Of course, it's always in a simulation of terrorists. See, we need these. There's people inside the car. There's people hiding in that Ryder truck. They're driving around with a high-powered radiation beam of high-powered X-ray blasting. The guy in the car's being fried. He'll love that big, fat, juicy brain tumor he gets. He'll love it. Have you noticed how they've taken our survival instinct away? I see the statistics of more and more yuppies don't even visit their parents for many, many years. They just stick them in these nursing homes. And that's how the nursing homes get away with them, with worms and maggots and bed sores and living in their own feces and urine for weeks at a time. Same thing out of England and their hospitals, because nobody comes to see mama and papa. These yuppies are so busy getting drunk and partying and watching porn and